8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This program contains violent content which may be too intense for some. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to sound a little rough tonight. I'm losing my voice from all this coughing. Cough drops. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to True Crime with Marv. I was supposed to have a couple helpers here tonight. One's out sick herself. And then the other one is Andrea's on her way. She's going to do most of the reading for me tonight because if I read all these documents or even parts of them, I'd be coughing like crazy. So let's see. Hello, Wanda from Missouri. How are you? Hi, Randy. I'm so glad you're out of the hospital. I'm sorry I didn't get to reach out to you. Been sick myself, so... Hello, Heather. How are you? Welcome, Christy. Says, let's discuss this important event. You got that right. Hello to our Facebook viewers. Connor, how are you tonight? What's up? Yeah. Hello, Melissa. How are you? So, before I go and change my other screen, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, you guys are all going to have to bear with me until Andrea can get here. I'm going to be talking and then drinking a little bit. Good to see you, Digital. So, this is the True Crime with Marv Facebook page. And I just wanted you all to see what I'm starting to do here. At the top of the page, there's different tabs here. If you go to Files, I have started putting files in the file tab. So we've got a good start here. So I just wanted you to know that that is there. And we're going to use some of these tonight. So if you go into the files and click on it, click on one, then it brings up the post. And then you can click on the PDF. And it'll bring up that file. I'm tuning in tonight. Nice to see you, Joe. Just finished reading the entire Frank's document. Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah, you got that right. Screams corruption. At a very minimum, a frightening level of incompetence. You've got that right. Hey, Boston Christian and Gloria, nice to see you. So, I'm just biding my time. Andrea should be home here in just a few minutes. And then we're going to read a couple documents here before we go into that Frank's document. But before we do that, I'm going to try to talk here. If you hear noise, it's because I have the window open behind me. If I get hot, I cough more. So it's nice and cool here, so I got the window open to keep me cooled down. But you might hear some cars and, I don't know, animal sounds. So, okay, who remembers not too long ago the defense going into court trying to get Richard Allen moved? Hands? I think everybody here can hold up a hand, right? Well, not necessarily, Christy. You got to remember, this is the defense writing this. So when the defense writes something, it is so everything for their client and them looks better, right? When the prosecutor team writes something, it's so the prosecution looks like they're in the best light. But each side has some truths in it. You just got to pick out the fluff from the truth. Hi, Phil. How are you? So, yeah. So, okay, you all remember that, right? They go to court. They're trying to get him moved to another jail. A jail, not a prison. Okay? That didn't work because Judge Gull said, no, I think he's actually being treated fairly nice there compared to other prisoners. And it's going to be up to the Indiana prison to decide whether he's going to get moved or not. So we haven't heard anything. Things have gotten continued. We're waiting. So the first thing, oh, Andrea, hang on a minute. Hello there, girl. You're muted.
Hello.
Hello. Oh.
Okay. All right. Willie, you talk about a flying trip home.
I bet. That was record time for you.
And then I had to hurry up, let the dogs out, come in, boot up the computer, get on, bring up all the paperwork, and blah 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 blah. Turn everything off, turn everything down.
Yep. Gloria, you're right. It's a big mess. It's a big mess. So I was just saying, Andrea, that we all remember the hearing that went on a few months ago, and the defense was trying to get him moved to another facility, right? A jail.
Right.
Versus the prison.
Right.
And a lot of what they said, the defense said, was refuted by the prosecution very well, to the point where Judge Gull said, nope, I think he's fine where he's at, and he's going to stay there unless the Indiana prison system deems to move him. Right? Well, they're not happy about that. So what better way to bring all of this up again than to say the sons of Odin did it? I think Andrea might have lost me. Can everybody hear me? Is it me that everybody lost? Okay, Melissa says yes, she can hear me. Okay, good.
I have no idea what that was about.
Now, your internet's been weird lately.
I know.
But that's all right. So, yesterday Andrea was gracious enough with me. We were on the phone for hours, and she was reading me these documents. And thank goodness, because I was working and coughing and, listening to her read these documents. And I think our first thought on this was, holy crap, this is bad.
Right.
Rick Allen's gonna walk. Right?
Yeah. If all this is true in here, yeah, more than likely will.
So I told her, I'm like, let's wait on doing a live. There's so many lives tonight. Let's wait, do one tomorrow. That way I can look at these documents a little bit more. Just listen to a gamut of people talk about this and get my thoughts straight. So I've went from, oh my God, this is bad, Richard Allen's gonna walk, to, pretty slick move on the defense's part.
Right.
Pretty slick move on their part. They've got out more information in these documents than anybody has in the whole 6 years, I think.
Well, what blows my mind is that they've gotten more information and released more information than what the prosecution or the sheriff's department did. And they even said in these documents that they got information before the prosecutor's office gave it to them. And they've got information they haven't even received from the prosecutor's office yet.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so we've got, was it not Sheriff Liggett who had the final say in Allen's relocation? No.
No.
It was the judge's decision. And she stated that he was being taken care of at the prison where he was sent. And that, who was it? The Department of Indiana
Department of Corrections?
Yeah. They were going to decide whether he should be moved or not.
Right. Well, they were. She was leaving it up to them to see if they had the right facility for them, if they could provide him medical
Right.
needs that he needed.
Right. So this is the whole thing. After I got to think about it, he's not charged with murder, right? They're saying he's the one that kidnapped the girls. And they've said there's other players, tentacles, whatever you want to call them, right? So,
right.
So the defense is really, really harping on the fact that Tony Liggett said that it was only Richard Allen. Well, it doesn't matter what Tony Liggett said, because we all know the prosecutor has come out and said he thinks there's other players. So you gotta read between the lines with some of this stuff. Oh, believe me, guys, I've been putting Vicks on. I've been drinking tea with honey. Nothing is working. So, Andrew, do you have the verified motion for immediate transfer of custody document?
I don't think so.
Okay, if you go to the True Crime with Marv Facebook page and go to the files, it's in there. So most of you have probably already heard the Frank's motion, right? But we're going to start with this document tonight because it's kind of interesting too. And this is what really, when I heard this is really what made my eyes open.
Did you say the motion for immediate transfer?
Yes. Oh my goodness, Carly, you have the same thing? Oh, you just passed 2 weeks. I just passed in a week, and it sucks. But
okay, I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yep.
And I heard I'm reading tonight. I heard it on. I had it on in the car when I was. Kathy says, "I'm trying to hurry up and get you home." I was like, "I got it on here. I can hear everything she's saying until I get in the house."
Yeah, I'm gonna have you read. I took my inhaler before we came on, but I know it's not gonna last through this whole thing, so I'm gonna talk when I need to talk and have you read if that's okay.
Okay, so you want me to read all 8 pages of this?
Yes, because this is interesting. It goes along with the 136-page document that everybody was reading on YouTube yesterday and this morning.
Okay, well, I haven't read this, so.
No, this is going to be interesting.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep, go ahead.
State of Indiana, County of Carroll, State of Indiana versus Richard M. Allen. Comes now the defendant Richard M. Allen by counsel Bradley A. Rozzi and Andrew J. Baldwin, and in support of their verified motion for immediate transfer of custody, counsel Rozzi and Baldwin swear and affirm to the following. 1. Pursuant to the charging information filed on or about October the 28th, 2022, Richard M. Allen is currently facing 2 counts of felony murder. 2. On November the 3rd, 2022, the Honorable Benjamin A. Diener, Judge of the Carroll Circuit Court, issued a court order which has been previously referred to in this cause as the safekeeping order. Pursuant to the safekeeping order, the Carroll County Sheriff relinquished jurisdiction of defendant Allen's care and custody to the Indiana Department of Corrections. 3. Shortly after the safekeeping order was entered, defendant Allen was transported to the Westville Correctional Facility and jailed in the maximum security unit within the confines of Westville Correctional Facility. Defendant Allen has remained incarcerated in said unit continuously since November of 2022. 4. Counsel for Defendant Allen have previously requested that Defendant Allen be removed from the Westville Correctional Facility on the basis that Defendant Allen has been exposed to conditions far more harsh than those of other pretrial detainees across the state of Indiana. In its order of July 19, 2023, the court denied counsel's request for transfer and, in fact, found that Defendant Allen was being treated, quote, treated more favorably than other inmates housed at the Westville Correctional Facility. Counsel for Defendant Allen believe that it is improper to compare Defendant Allen's circumstances.
Oh no, we're losing her. She's going down. All right. I'm going to wait and see if she can come back up here, but I'm going to read a little bit. So, in its order of July 19, 2023, the court denied counsel's request for transfer and, in fact, found that Defendant Allen was being treated more favorably than other inmates housed at the Westville Correctional Facility. Counsel for Defendant Allen believed that it is improper to compare Defendant Allen's circumstances with those of other offenders who have been convicted of crimes such as murder, rape, child molesting, and robbery, to mention a few. So, yes, Andrea, we lost you again. So, this is a unique situation.
I'm back.
Okay. They're trying to say that he's being treated differently. Well, yeah, he is being treated differently. This is a high-profile, nationwide case. And if they just put him any old place, they know there's a great chance that he'll never make it to trial because somebody will try to kill him.
Right. Okay. Did you continue or did you not?
I did. I got to on the next page where it says Defendant Allen's incarceration.
Okay. Defendant Allen's incarceration in the maximum security unit has exposed him to the most isolated conditions an offender can be subjected to while imprisoned. Moreover, the unit wherein he is currently being isolated is designed for the sole purpose of segregating and punishing the worst and the most heinous offenders in our prison system. As an innocent man, well, that's weird. Defendant Allen cannot be classified as such. Attorneys for Defendant Allen have discovered additional circumstances which lend support to the unjust and inhuman conditions, under which Defendant Allen has been detained for the past 9 months.
Okay,
5.
Stop there for a minute.
Okay.
So once again, boo-hoo, he's in a prison, but the man is still alive. That's important. If we ever want actual justice and not just vigilante justice. I mean, it's the defense's job to do all this. I get it. Okay? But come on. We can't just put him in any old jail where they don't have the security, they don't have the mental help that he needs. To me, a lot of this is them being salty that the judge did not agree with them in the first place. So now they're trying it in round 2. Go ahead, Andrea. Thank you.
5. Simultaneously herewith, Defendant Allen's attorneys have filed various pleadings, including but not limited to a motion for Frank's hearing, hereinafter Frank's notice. Within the Frank's notice and supporting memorandum, Defendant Allen's defense offers up numerous facts and circumstances which connect members of the Sons of Odin, aka Odinites, Odinism, Vinlanders, and various other splinter groups, a white supremacist group, to the murders of Abigail Williams and Libby German. A large majority of the facts and circumstances referenced in the Frank's notice and supporting memorandum were obtained through the normal course of discovery from law enforcement files. It is, however, notable that there have been very few, if any, references by law enforcement authorities to those Odinistic ties throughout the 6-year investigation in this case. Said information was noticeably absent from the probable cause affidavit filed with this order on October the 28th, 2022, which supported the search of Defendant Allen's home. Counsel incorporates herein all references to the Sons of Odin, Odinites, Odinism, Vinlanders, etc.
Oh my, this is going to be one heck of a night. Andrea, we lost you again. Okay, so all references to the Sons of Odin, Odinites, Odinism, Vinlanders, etc. referenced in the Frank's notice and supporting memorandum. To me, the defense is doing the same thing as what they are saying is being done to their client, which is this. The prosecution has arrested Richard Allen, right? And has put him in a secure prison for his protection. They're stating that he kidnapped and committed felony murder, which means he kidnapped them, and as a result, it caused their... I have to be careful because YouTube is very picky on words right now. Caused the girls to pass. Okay? But... and they're saying, oh, my client's not getting fair treatment and this and that. But they've done exactly the same thing to 4 gentlemen in this Frank's motion. Just because somebody had Odinism posts on their Facebook page doesn't mean they're the ones that killed the girls. I said it again. Okay. Right? You can't convict somebody of unaliving 2 girls just by what is on their Facebook page. You have to have other evidence that they were involved. Does that make sense? Yes, Christy, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're fighting for their client. Right. Just here to say that I've been so, mad since this BS was released. I'm glad you're covering it because I know who to turn to for the truth. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. We're going to get to that Odinism and what this is. So it's crazy, you guys. It really is. This is a defense tactic. Once again, to try and get their client moved to another facility that is closer to them. So let's see here.
Dear Lord.
Hi. I know you're having trouble.
It wouldn't. I restarted the computer and it wouldn't even connect to the internet.
Oh
So
my
I'm wondering
goodness.
if I'm not having internet. I'm wondering if everybody's internet issue area. But here, the
That
TV didn't go down and my phone didn't go down. My phone did over to data. So, anyways, okay. Did you read any more, or did you just stop?
No, I've just been talking to them.
Okay.
I finished that paragraph. So
You
we're
finished
at
up that number 5 then.
Yep.
Number 6. Okay.
Yes. And
Are you
I'm
ready
gonna
for me
have
to start again?
I am. I'm gonna go off camera here and blow my nose. So I'm gonna go off camera and mute while you read.
Okay.
Go ahead and read down to number, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop at the end of 10.
Read 10 or stop at 10?
Read 10. Stop
Okay.
at 11.
Well, let's hope my internet stays on that long.
All right,
As
I'll
long
be
as
right
the
back.
internet stays on.
Okay.
Okay. Number 6. Allen's defense team, including Andrew Baldwin, Hoffman, Max Baker, and undersigned counsel, have visited Westville Correctional Facility on a number of occasions dating back to the winter of 2022. During one of the initial visits to the maximum security unit, members of the defense team noticed the presence of unusual patches on the uniforms of 2 prison guards, Sergeant Johnson and Sergeant Randy Jones. One patch consistently worn by Sergeant Jones reads as follows: "In Odin we trust." Council has also observed patches containing 3 interconnected triangles on the chest of Sergeant Jones. Sergeant Robinson has worn similar patches with Odinistic references. As mentioned in the Frank's notice and supporting memorandum, these patches, with their references and symbols, have direct ties to the practice of Odinism. 7. Members of the defense team have also observed patches on other guards during visits to the facility. Because of the very limited contact and brief interactions, it has been difficult to document and even corroborate the actual words and on these patches. 8. Through the discovery process, Defense Counsel has sought out from the DOC video footage from Defendant Allen's cell and video of many of the movements of Defendant Allen within the facility. To date, the defense has received from November of 2022, as well as additional footage from April, May, and June of 2023. A great number of the videos reflect that Sergeant Jones is commonly assigned to the movements of Defendant Allen and around the facility. Number 9. On Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, Attorney Rozzi, Assistant Max Baker, and Kathy Allen visited the defendant at the Westville Correctional Facility. The visit occurred in the traditional visitation room used by other inmates. The DOC officials cleared the room so that only Defendant Allen, defense team, his wife, and DOC employees were present. During the visit, Sergeant Jones stationed himself within 15 feet from Defendant Allen, as he, Allen, and his wife were allowed to communicate with each other from opposite sides of the table. Sergeant Robinson was also present for the transport of Defendant Allen from the visitation room. There was no privacy afforded to Defendant Allen and his wife during the visit. The room was nearly empty, and therefore there was no background noise of it to offer any sense of privacy to Defendant Allen and his wife. Sergeant Jones remained at his post during the entire visit, within earshot of Defendant Allen's wife. Number 10. As stated, Allen's defense team received videos from the Indiana Department of Corrections illustrating interactions between prison guards and Mr. Allen during his incarceration. One such video represents an incident which appears to have occurred between May 18th, 2023 and May 25th, 2023. In the video, labeled as NU-1136, Sergeant Jones can be seen warning Defendant Allen that he will be tased if he, Allen, does not remove his hands from the cuff port in the door of Defendant Allen's cell. Defendant Allen did not remove his hands from the cuff port, which resulted in Sergeant Jones deploying his taser to Defendant Allen's hands. No, quote, use of force checkoff sheet, unquote, was completed as it appeared from the communications between the officers that Sergeant Jones did not believe that Defendant Allen was actually struck with the taser. The issue of whether or not he was struck by the taser is of no consequence. no time during this altercation was Defendant Allen posing any safety risk to any of the officers involved or any inmates housed in the facility. Defendant Allen was securely locked in his cell within the most secure unit in Westville Criminal Facility, and the only aspect of noncompliance involved Defendant Allen's hands sticking outside of the small rectangular sleeve in the cell door that is used to exchange food, medications, or items with the inmate.
All right. So they go off on this tangent. Huh?
I said, did you want me to go on?
Nope, hang on. Okay, so they go off on this tangent. They're talking about now reviewing footage from the prison, and now they're saying specific things that they see in the footage. Okay? Oh my goodness. So they're talking about these two individuals that are always guarding Richard Allen. And they're stating that these two members are part of the Odinites because they wore a patch on their uniform. Yeah. So, Anthony, I know you're in the chat, or you were. I'm hoping you still are. Have you ever seen, because you've been in jail, have you ever seen a guard with some kind of Odinism patch on it? Because I can tell you that normally these uniforms are they're all the same, first off. And I don't see where particular jailers can just add any old patch that they want to. What do you think, Andrea?
I wouldn't think that they would be allowed to, no. Because every law enforcement official or correctional officer I've seen, you only wear and knowing that my boys being in the fire service,
right,
they can't wear just any old patch that they want on their duty shirts.
Right. They are told what patches they can wear
and where to put it.
Right. Okay, so Facebook user says, I've been to Westville and I have never seen none of that on any guard hurt anybody that ran the prison. Yeah. So, I'm saying, bring on the videos. I want to physically see this patch that they're talking about.
Pictures of the patches actually in the 136-page document.
Right, but we don't
There's
have
pictures
those.
of them.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they're at the end.
Oh, I clicked on something I did not want to click on.
Right there. No, there you go, right there.
So they're saying these were exactly the same patches that they had on them?
Yes. Yes.
Here are the patches worn by the guards. The images below of the patches worn. Okay, so if these patches were worn by the guards, I want a clear shot in that video showing that this is what they were wearing.
Right.
Because those should stand out on their uniforms pretty darn good.
Well, you would think.
They wore on their DOC uniforms. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear the prosecution's rebuttal to that one. And like I said, I want to see the video showing that patch is on that man's uniform.
Right.
Because I don't see it happening. And it's not like you could take a patch and just Velcro it onto your chest or whatever and take it off. Being in a prison and moving around, that ain't going to stay on there.
Okay, Anthony says, yes, there are several guards who are affiliated with the prison gangs. Yes, he was in jail, and Westville with Odinist.
Yes, I'm not saying there's not Odinist in the jail. We know they're everywhere now. But the guards, did they actually have a patch on their uniform in the jail, such as in Odin We Trust or the Triangles?
And
that is my question. Melissa, we'll get to the Odinist part. That's going to be towards the end. So, okay, let's see here.
This is ridiculous.
I know.
It shows me on here twice.
That's all right. We're going to leave you on there twice.
Anyways, regardless if they're show it's their sign of religion, I don't think they're allowed to wear them on a state uniform.
Right.
That would be like firefighters wearing religion patches on their uniforms, and I know for a fact they're not allowed to do that.
Right. So yes, that is Odinism. It's mythology, the polytheistic religion of ancient Scandinavian, in which Odin was the chief of gods. Modern revival or reconstruction of this religion, now sometimes associated with white supremacist ideology. That's coming up in here. So we'll talk about that part, absolutely.
And Christy says every place is different. Right. Every jail is different, but this is a state-run facility.
Oh, let's see here. I don't think that's going to work.
Maybe we need to research if they're allowed to in a state-run facility, if they're in a state-run prison or correctional facility, if they're allowed to display their signs of religion.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Let's see here. Judy says, I highly recommend the Prosecutors podcast after finishing up here because they break this down legally and it's very interesting. I agree. I like their podcast, and I also like The Lawyer You Know. He is awesome at explaining this stuff. Christy says nobody pays attention to what is on a uniform.
Well, apparently somebody did. Maybe the wrong person.
Yeah. I've never seen that on a guard uniform, right? most of the time they don't have too many patches on their uniform to begin with, unless
No, it's normally
just the logo of the prison and the name, and that's it.
and the American flag.
True. Okay.
Okay, you ready for number 11?
Okay, so we're getting into the part of the document where they're saying these two guys are constantly guarding Richard Allen, and he's got no privacy. Okay, yes, I'm ready to go on.
Number 11. There exists a second video labeled as M2U01106, which appears to have been taken between the dates of May 9th, 2023 and May 15th, 2023, wherein defendant Allen is locked securely in his cell. Prison guards appeared to be removing handcuffs from defendant Allen, presumably after transporting defendant Allen back to his cell from some other location within the facility. While it is difficult to tell, it appears that Sergeant Jones may have been present during the incident. Either way, an unknown officer deploys his taser, striking defendant Allen's hands. Again, there was no safety threat being posed by defendant Allen at the time of the tasing incident. Number 12. On April the 28th, 2023, DOC inmate Robert P. Baston, while housed in the maximum security unit at Westville Correctional Facility, filed a letter with the court. Within this correspondence, inmate Baston claimed in pertinent part the following, quote, "There are corrupt officers and ranking officers calling Richard Allen a kid killer, teasing him that he has a visit from his family," end quote. On Friday, August the 4th, 2023, Attorney Rozzi and Assistant Baker visited with inmate Baston at the Westville Correctional Facility. During said visit, inmate Baston told both Rozzi and Baker that Sergeant Joshua Robinson is one of the guards that was playing a prank on defendant Allen. At the time of this meeting, inmate Baston was unaware of any concerns that the defense team had regarding Sons of Odin and their involvement in this case. See affidavit of Max Baker attached to the Franks notice.
All right, hang on. So now they're like, boo, the guard was picking on my client. Oh, come on. Really? We all know that in the prison system, we've said this before, when you unalive a child, it's known throughout the prison.
Right, and they're going to be tougher on you.
Right. Now, in most cases, the people are convicted of it. In this case, he's not convicted of any crime yet.
Right.
And I think that is why the defense, even though I went, oh, boo-hoo, the defense does have a legitimate concern. Because this is all about the fact that this man is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And that part of proven guilty has not happened yet. Okay.
Number 13. The defense team has sought out and offers up herein a DOC video labeled as MTU01026 that appears to have been recorded between April the 17th, 2023 and April 21st, 2023. During the video, defendant Allen is being transported to a location within the maximum security unit to get a haircut. During the transport, an unidentified prison guard is walking defendant Allen on a leash. Sergeant Jones can be seen in the same video. At approximately 2 minutes and 17 seconds into the video, the unknown officer with the leash reaches up to his right chest area and removes a patch from his uniform, placing the patch in his pocket. It appears from the video that someone, most likely the individual holding the video camera, prompted the unknown officer's actions. Counsel has been unable to identify the specific officer involved or the contents on the patch, and therefore cannot confirm that said patch is directly linked to the Odinistic practices referenced herein. However, one need not have a degree in rocket scientist to conclude that staff members are attempting to conceal obviously unacceptable practices within the secured walls of the maximum security unit.
Okay. So you can't tell me for sure that what they were wearing had anything to do with Odinism. You can't identify.
But if it did, and the patches are stick-on patches, and they're hurrying up and taking them off so people can't see them.
I agree.
Only the people they want to see them.
But nowhere. I mean, I get that, and yes, that's a concern, especially if it. You'd have to go and look at the procedures and guidelines of the employees for that facility and what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do.
But why would he be taking a patch off of his shirt?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, the patches that they have on their shirts are sewn on.
Well, somebody just said here, let's see here. I heard they stick on and can be peeled off.
Are those the Sons of Odin patches, or are they their normal patches?
Could be any
that she's talking about.
But that could be any patch. That's what I'm saying. It could be any patch. Yeah, and why would you wear it to begin with if you didn't want? You know that you're being recorded. As a guard, you're being recorded all the time. So if you truly didn't want them to see a patch, why would you wear it?
Unless there was a certain person that it needed to be seen by.
Yeah.
AKA Richard Allen.
Maybe. Christy says Velcro patches now. My son has Velcro patches on his police uniform. Okay. Well, they're saying it's on video, but they can't see the patch, and they can't tell who the officer,
it says unidentified officer.
Unidentified officer, so they don't know who the officer is. They can't see the patch on the video, so they have no idea really what was being taken off the uniform and put in the pocket. They're just bringing forth some kind of Hail Mary pass to go along with their theory of this Odinism.
Boston said intimidation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And in the meantime, they're saying, in the previous one, they're saying that, well, they tased him. Okay. What exactly happened? Why did they tase him? They said he wouldn't remove his hands from the little cubby where they take the cuffs off. And you tased him for that?
Right.
And what idiot is going to stand there with his hands behind his back and keep him in there? So that's kind of suspicious to me, too. Okay, go ahead.
Number 14. Defense counsel began taking depositions in this cause during the week beginning August the 7th, 2023. During that week, counsel deposed both Sheriff Liggett and Detective Jerry Holman. It was during these depositions that defense counsel first raised issues and offered up exhibits pertaining to the Sons of Odin / Odinism and its obvious ties to these crimes. Thereafter, counsel visited defendant Allen on 2 different occasions since Allen's defense team put the state of Indiana and its investigating officers on notice of the Odinistic ties to this case. The visits occurred on August the 17th, 2023, and again on August the 25th, 2023. During the August 25th visit, Attorney Rozzi observed that Sergeant Robinson no longer had a patch on his chest. This change of circumstance is likely more than coincidental. It could easily be inferred from these circumstances that prison officials are now aware of the Odinistic ties to this case and have instructed their guards and other staff members to remove/conceal their patches during videotapings of defendant Allen's movements within the facility, as well as during visits by members of the defense team. Go on.
Yep, go ahead.
15. On June 13, 2023, this court conducted a hearing on various issues, including but not limited to the safekeeping order. At that hearing, Sheriff Liggett testified that he had made a visit to the Westville Correctional Facility and insinuated that it had been several months prior to the June hearing, but could not remember the exact date. In his deposition of August 8, 2023, Sheriff Liggett then acknowledged that he had visited the Westville Correctional Facility in the company of Trooper Holman and investigator Steve Mullen sometime in late 2022 or early 2023, but he couldn't recall the exact month of the visit. See page 44, lines 24 and 25, and page 45, lines 21 through 22 in the attached deposition transcript of Sheriff Liggett. It appears there were ties between the Carroll County Sheriff's Department and the Westville Correctional Facility, despite the issuance of the safekeeping order, which otherwise devised the Carroll County's Sheriff's Department of its jurisdiction over the custody of Richard Allen. That is to say that the Carroll County Sheriff's Department has a vested interest in defendant Allen's continued incarceration in and amongst a culture which appears to be ripe with Odinistic connections.
Okay, hang on. Didn't they complain last time in the last hearing that Liggett and Lesenby and all them weren't going to visit the jail frequently enough to ensure that Richard Allen was being taken care of?
I don't remember that. The only thing I can remember Lesenby and Liggett ever saying anything about jail is that they didn't have the necessary facilities and medical needs to accommodate him at Carroll County.
But I thought I remembered reading something where the judge asked him, are you going and visiting the jail to ensure that he is being taken care of properly? Does anybody in the audience remember that? Or am I just on too much medication? And how does...
Christy said it sounds familiar.
Yeah. How does the fact that there were ties between Carroll County Sheriff's Department and the Westville Correctional Facility, despite the issuance of safekeeping order, divested the Carroll County Sheriff's Department of its jurisdiction over the custody of Richard Allen? So are they saying that they no longer have jurisdiction over the custody of Richard Allen because the judge gave it to the Department of Corrections to determine whether he's moved or not?
I don't know.
So
it kind of sounds like what they're saying here is Westville Correctional Facility has more control over him than Carroll County does.
Okay. But it says that is to say that Carroll County Sheriff's Department has a vested interest in Allen's continued incarceration. Well, of course they do.
Right.
They want this man to go to trial. It doesn't matter where he is. They're always going to have an invested interest.
Well, and that the case originated in their county with a double murder.
Right.
Duh.
But how does that have anything to do with continued incarceration in and amongst a culture which appears to be ripe with Odinistic connections? You can go to any jail now, any jail or prison, and there's going to be Odinists in there. it's prevalent. It's coming back quite a bit. So you can't tell me that just because he's at Westville, that's the only place that has any Odinistic culture there. But that's what he's trying to say. At least that's what I hear.
To me, the way that last line, it says defendant Allen's continued incarceration in and amongst a culture which appears to be ripe with Odinistic connections. To me, the way that the lawyers are putting it is that Carroll County Sheriff's Department wants him to remain there no matter what's going on.
Right. Okay.
Go on. Or are you reading?
Angela, I agree with you. And I don't think they're just going to tase him because he wouldn't take his hands out of the little pocket in the door.
Well, now some correctional officers can be total assholes.
That's true. But they
know and have this.
They know this is all being recorded.
Right, but they also know how far they can push their boundaries. And they could say, oh, well, you didn't see him refuse to take his hands out. And if they say, oh, no, we didn't see that. Well, then that's what happened.
Right. But I can't see that as a reason, a legitimate reason why they would tase somebody.
Well, but a lot of correctional officers, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying some, have a big freaking ego and think that they reign over everybody. And it doesn't matter if you tell them to bend over and tie you their shoe, you better damn well do it.
So what you're saying, whether it's a procedure or a process in the jail, they just do whatever they want.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Unless they get caught.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, what a way to get yourself fired by doing this with Richard Allen. When you know everything of his is recorded.
Yeah. Unless they have cameras turned off in that area.
But it doesn't matter because they know that Richard Allen's movements are being recorded.
Yeah, but there also can be times where correctional officers, depending on who's on duty, okay, in the control room, will, one, ignore things and say, oh, no, we didn't see that. Two, would delete a video.
Yeah.
And three, just turn their heads or turn the camera off. Especially if they know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's like I'm saying, some correction officers are dirty.
I know. Okay.
And I'm not saying that to say what they're doing is right or wrong or anything. I'm just saying this is, I mean, you got to kind of be on both sides of the fence here. And there's some correction officers that are just downright damn dirty.
Yeah. Okay, we're on 16, right?
Yes. Okay, a further concern is the fact that there exists literature such as a 1998 article from the Southern Poverty Law Center titled New Brand of Racist Odinistic Religion on the March, which focuses on the growth of the neo-pagan white supremacist group within prison systems across the country. A local news article published by WRTV Indianapolis titled These Are the Hate Groups Operating in Indiana, published on November the 18th, 2016, identified many of the hate groups and other extremists who were operating within the state of Indiana. These are the hate groups operating in Indiana, WRTV, footnote number 4. Many of these are associated with the Odinism and or splinter groups such as the Soldiers of Odin, Vinlanders, etc. The United States Supreme Court in 2005 issued a ruling in Cutter versus Wilkinson, U.S. 709, 2005, wherein the justices found that prisons must accommodate unusual faiths such as Odinism. See Southern Poverty Law Center article titled Supreme Court Requires Prisons Give Special Consideration to Racist Pagans, August 21st, 2009. There can be no doubt that prisoners with Odinistic beliefs and practices continue to grace the halls of our prison system today. You want me just to finish it?
Yeah, go ahead.
17. On Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, Attorney Rozzi deposed an Indiana State Trooper, hereinafter referred to as Trooper X, who has served for many years on task force and as an undercover agent, infiltrating hate groups in our state. Trooper X was sought out and consulted by law enforcement investigators in this case for his/her expertise with Odinistic practices and activities within Indiana. During the deposition, Trooper X acknowledged that Odinism consisted of two types, the good and the evil. Said trooper further confirmed that he/she was aware of the existence of the evil side of Odinism operating within the prison system in Indiana. See depot transcript attached here to pages 28 through 31. Is it possible that Westville Correctional Facility has cleansed itself of any such prisoners and any activity of this sort? Not likely. Moreover, to the extent there is an innocent explanation for the Odinistic content on the patches, it is not unfair to ask why guards would be permitted to advertise and promote the views of such a radical hate group in an environment where inmates routinely associate with the very same evil belief system. And by extension, one might opine as to why guards assigned to Defendant Allen happen to be their very same guards advertising the Odinistic patches on their chest. 18. Attorneys for Richard Allen request that his safety be prioritized and that he be removed from an environment that approves of and promotes the Odinistic brand. Counsel further requests that he be transferred to a correctional facility such as the White County Jail, where he was previously housed without incident. In the alternative, counsel requests that Defendant Allen be transferred to the Cass County Jail, where he could be housed in more modern and suitable jail, one designed and intended to house pretrial detainees, those presumed by our Constitution to be innocent until the charges in this case are fully adjudicated. Bradley Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin. Are you there? Where did she go? Oh, she said be right back. Yeah, Christy, prisoners will pay guards to look the other way, and they will, to save their own lives.
Okay, sorry.
You're all right. I just didn't know where you went. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Did we disconnect again? We were on such a good roll.
No, I had to run to the potty room. Okay, so all of this is about Odinism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Digital, if you're still in here, we know that this has been talked about since the beginning of this case, right? We heard about the F on the tree, but we thought it was carved into the tree. We learned some new details about how that actually was done, and it's disgusting.
In the documents, yeah.
It's disgusting. Okay? So, what the defense has done is they're attacking a religion that everybody has to let in. You can't not allow Odinism into the prisons. It's a religion. Okay? Just like you can't not allow Christianity or any other religion into the prisons. So they're saying all these people are white supremacist, they're racist, everything else. Well, that's not true. right? There are members that are that way, but the true Odinists are trying to get rid of them. They don't want that in any part of their religion. So the defense is doing exactly what the prosecution did to outline its case, right? They have specific facts, specific theories, and they're leaving out a bunch of other information. Now, when it comes to Tony Liggett and Lesenby getting a search warrant, was it really necessary that they put the information about Odinism into that document? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Nothing that we know of right now connects Richard Allen to Odinism. So why would they mention that in any of the search documents or the documents they needed to send to the judge to get a search warrant?
Well, what they're saying in that 136-page document, they're saying that Liggett lied to Judge Diener to get the search warrant about things that were supposedly at Richard Allen's house.
Right. Or the fact that the one witness never called him muddy and bloody.
Right.
Now,
and he wasn't wearing a blue coat, he was wearing a tan coat.
Correct. Now, if in that female's deposition, that is her statement that he was just muddy and was wearing a tan coat, and Liggett and Lesenby tweaked her story on their own to fit the details of the case to get the search warrant, we're in trouble.
Exactly. And they said, and Allen's attorneys have said that they have the actual transcript or whatever, or the actual interview that she gave to the cops.
Right. So, but until I see that interview and know for a fact that this isn't just a ploy on their part to try to get this search warrant thrown out, I can't make a definitive decision.
Well, we won't get those documents till after the hearing's over.
Right. But I think what's going to happen is the prosecution's going to come back and rebut this, right? Before
big time.
the hearing takes place or when the hearing takes place, they're going to come back and rebut all of this. And that is when we're really going to see what was said, what happened. You know,
have they set a date for the Franks hearing yet or not?
Let's see.
Christy said, there is a reason why RA was chosen to go down for this. He doesn't fit either witness description.
Yes, Gull does have to decide if the request warrants an actual hearing. And I'm just scrolling to the bottom here because it's going to tell us if she's set up a time to hear this. So what'll happen is the prosecution and the defense are going to go in. They're going to bring in and tell her their thoughts, what they're thinking, or they're just going to write briefs on it all. And then she's going to decide whether a hearing should take place. So right now, there is nothing on my case stating that she has made any date or time for this. Right now, it's all motions.
Yeah.
So the defense puts in their motion. She reads over their motion with all of this information in this document here and the Frank's hearing document with 136 pages. She's waiting for the prosecution to put in their motion rebutting it. And then she will decide if she feels there should be a hearing for it. I am assuming yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I would think that they would have to.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They are definitely going to have to testify because the defense is attacking things that they specifically had said. Holman will have to testify. McLeland will not have to testify.
No.
But Liggett, Lesenby, Holman, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So goodness gracious.
With the accusations that they're making in that motion,
yeah,
I don't see why she wouldn't grant the Frank's hearing.
I agree. Because you got to remember, well, yes, they are accusing McLeland of not giving them discovery information. That is correct.
Yeah, they're saying that there's information that they have that he hasn't even turned over to them yet.
Right. But that doesn't mean that he'll have to testify during the hearing.
Right. And there's even stuff that they say that they've got that they turned over to him, that they asked him for.
Right. I have never seen it to where a prosecutor is forced to testify.
No, I think at most,
it's all done through hearings.
Right. I think Gall will tell them. Yeah, Gall will tell McLeland, if you're withholding evidence, you need to turn it over right now.
Right. She'll give him.
She can sanction him for doing it. Right.
Yeah, she will give him a date. You must turn over this information by such and such a date, or you will get fined.
Right.
Okay. So we've got a lot of questions on what is an Odin or Odinism, things like that. The word refers to a brief system that centers Odin, the Norse god of thunder. that a seemingly ancient term rooted in the beliefs of medieval European pagans would show up in a document filed by attorneys in a Carroll County courthouse does not come as a shock for scores of civil rights advocacy organizations keeping tabs on white supremacist organizations through the United States. Basically, and this could backfire you guys on the defense in this way. If the prosecution does any digging and finds any evidence that Richard Allen is part of this religion, this could all backfire on them big time.
Right.
You know.
But they said that they didn't find any trace of Odinism on his hard drives, on his SIM cards, on his phones, nothing.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they still won't or can't, but they said as of right now they haven't.
Right. So, and if they don't find any connection to it, so be it. Thanks for stopping by, Carly. I appreciate it.
Anthony's going live.
Oh, okay.
That's what she's doing.
Vinland is my home province of Newfoundland and Labor, the first confirmed settlements of Vikings, inhabitants in North America at Lance Ox Meadows. Those Vinlander skinheads are idiots. That's what I'm saying. A lot of them that are true to this religion do not like these groups of people that are coming into their religion and giving it a bad name.
Well, and in that motion that was released yesterday, it says in there they don't have to have a reason to do anything that they do. They just do it because they feel like it.
Right. Digital, that is the question of the century. Is it really Odin related, or was it made to look staged that way? And that's where the photographs of the scene are going to be very important. Now they say, time out here, this might get intense. I'm not going to
Viewer discretion.
Viewer discretion. I'm not going to go into great detail, but they did say that there was sticks used to create the shape of horns on Abby.
Right.
They did say that sticks were used to create these runes on Libby's body. Okay.
And Abby's.
So, how detailed was this is my question. Was this somebody that actually knew what they were doing and did a pretty good job with sticks? Or is this somebody that was trying to make it look like this?
Well, in that document, it says that there were certain things about the crime scene that only someone that was at the crime scene would have known.
Right. And here's the thing. Exactly, Christy. According to the defense, it was too clean. But according to Doug Carter, it was full of blood everywhere.
Well, and according to the defense, the murder didn't happen where they were found.
Right. But we've all been told it happened in that area. Yes, they were moved. They were posed. But they're not saying they were moved miles or, we're talking
Right.
feet. We're talking
or even maybe yards, but not
yards.
Locations.
We're not talking a large distance.
Locations. Right.
Digital says if there were crosses there and not runes, would that be evidence against any certain people? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you could find it. So, so all we know is that, yes, Tucker. All we know is that Odinism is an old medieval religion. Okay. They use what is called the blot, is a ritual sacrifice made in honor of a god or goddess. I love it. Some groups, where'd my thing go here?
Lord, they picked now they're going to do an argument.
Here, and I'll share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing here. Odinism is a religious sect that attempts to revive ancient Norse religious beliefs and practices of pre-Christian Europe. It's not in itself a racist religion, though some white supremacists consider themselves Odinist, while other white supremacists have adopted a more explicit racial form of Asutru that is most frequently termed Odinism. Now, you have this in every religion. You do. You have your good and bad people in every religion. We could say the same thing about Islam, but we don't. Well, some do. There's people that believe in the true Islam, and then you have your other group who go to the extreme and twist and turn things in the religion to fit their views, and that's what they worship. That's what they do.
Sorry, Tucker decided he wanted to play with the squeaky toy.
Oh, that's all right.
So I had to mute it.
So Odinism appeals to white supremacists because it's a warrior religion. Everybody, when you think warrior, you think Vikings with their big clubs and violence, because they like to fight. So
knives and swords and clubs and
right.
Lord.
So, Odinism is an ancient religion that honors Odin, Thor, Frigg, Freyr, Freyja, and other deities from the Norse pantheon. Some adherents view Odinism as synonymous with Asutru, which means true to the gods, but others do not. Some see it as synonymous with Watanism or Wonism, but others disagree. So that's just saying what I told you. There's different people in the same religion that have different beliefs. And that's what that's saying there.
It's kind of like Catholics and Christians.
Right. They actually believe in a lot of the same things.
Right, but do things differently.
Right. So, and they believe in these gods, and they view these symbols, also known as runes, and that's where you're getting the F and the 3 triangles. And what was the other one, Andrea?
The asterisks.
Yes, exactly. Digital. Good and bad Odinist, good and bad Freemasons, good and bad Christians, good and bad Catholics. It's that way in every religion.
Well, that's like one of Bob's best friends is a Freemason, and he is nothing like a bad Freemason. Like if you say Freemason to somebody, they're going to say, "Oh my, you don't affiliate yourself or associate yourself with them guys, do you?" But it's like just like good and bad.
Right. So this is the same thing. The defense is trying to paint it out as they're all bad, supremacists. They do bad things, and they're out to get everybody. But that's what they're picking. That's the part that they're picking out of it. They're not picking the good part with the good people. They're only taking the bad.
Well, because it benefits them.
Right. And it goes along with their theory that these Odinists are in the jail. They're intimidating Richard Allen. They will not let him have any personal conversations with his wife or his lawyers. They've threatened to unalive his wife and daughter, according to the defense. So because of this, he's not safe where he is, and he needs to be moved immediately.
Well, think about this. If this wasn't a national case, covered in the media everywhere, would they be given the same attention to the Odinists that are in the jail as what they are now?
Well, this is a national case.
No, that's what I'm saying. If this wasn't a national case, would they be treating it like they are now?
No, I don't think so. They would have come up with some different defense.
Right, or they would have just turned their heads.
Right. Exactly. So, like I said, first reaction, oh my God, he's gonna walk, right? Then you get and take your time. You read this stuff and you digest it. You learn about Odinism. Okay? Just because an individual, a man, has disturbing pictures on his Facebook page and is an Odinist, does that make him a murderer? Does that mean he unalived 2 girls? You gotta have more proof than that. You cannot walk into court with just that circumstantial evidence saying, well, he put this on Facebook. Yeah, I admit a lot of what he put on Facebook is disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, most of it. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the post. It's disturbing. But it doesn't mean that the defense can come out and call him the person that unalived the girls. I agree, Christy. I have always said there's more than one. I do not believe this was just one person.
No way. Not even. Okay, so somebody was saying that it all took place in an hour and 17 minutes, and then they were corrected and said no, it was actually an hour and 45 minutes. Even in an hour and 45 minutes, there is no way.
Yeah.
No matter what took place there, that it could have been done by one person.
Right.
Especially if the defense is right and saying all this stuff that they said about how they put Libby's clothes on Abby. They took their time and did the ruins on each of their bodies, and right. Supposedly they moved the bodies, and they, and all this. Exactly. Right. So there's no way it was one person.
Right. I agree. I have never believed that this is a lone wolf.
No.
Never. But are the individuals the defense are calling out, can they prove, do they have actual proof that these individuals took part in this? Now, you do have the sister, I believe, of one guy stating he told her that he spit on the girls.
And she passed the polygraph.
She passed a polygraph.
Right.
I would be seriously looking at that individual because of those statements.
Well, but they also said that that individual had the mentality of a 7 to 8 year old.
Right. But I would still be looking into.
Oh yeah, him and a couple of the other people that were mentioned. Especially since the one person that everybody's referring to and looking up his Facebook post and saying all these pictures, especially since he supposedly warned his now ex-wife not to be asking a lot of questions because he couldn't protect her from this certain person, and that, this person just doesn't need a reason.
And I think that the fact that his son was dating Abby.
Yeah.
That's another reason why this individual should have been looked at more closely. But we can't say exactly what LE did. They may have looked at all this, and the defense just isn't telling us that.
Well, according to the defense in the 136-page document, they said every time this certain person came up on the tip sheet, Liggett or Lesenby would write, no proof, suspect has been cleared, everything. And they wouldn't even research the tips. It was just that this person came up so many times that they just kept saying, he's not it, he's been cleared, move on to the next person.
And that's wrong, because they may have had information come in that would have given them a different perspective.
Exactly.
They should have looked at each and every tip.
Well, and it even says, they ask either Lesenby or Liggett, why didn't you were given this information months ago, why wasn't it investigated, or why didn't you look into it further? And they said it was buried. It was buried in all the tips.
I agree. That probably was.
It probably was.
So much, so fast, they couldn't keep up and read it all.
In my opinion, if I was in their shoes and I had one person being continually tipped in, I would have done a little bit further investigating on that person.
I agree.
Instead of just saying, oh, well, we need you to come down, talk to us. Where were you at this time? Blah, blah. And he says, oh, I was at work. Okay, well, you're free to go.
No, I would have been looking. I would have said, okay, what was your hours that day? And I would have went to their work. But like I said, they may have.
And it says in that documentation that they contacted the lady that is like their HR person or whatever, and she says that he did clock in and he was there until after 2:45 or 3 o'clock or whatever. But then the defense shoots back and says, well, did someone clock in for him? Did someone drive his car on the lot? Did someone clock him out?
Right. I agree. Lala, yes. I don't know why the defense is not giving the name of the professor.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
That all should have been documented. All they should have to do is look back in their notes.
Not the defense, the prosecution.
The prosecution, right.
Yeah.
All they should have had to do is look back in their notes and provide the defense with the name of the professor.
Especially if they contacted him while he was on vacation.
Right.
Because that's what they said, that he was on vacation, so they didn't feel comfortable sending him the crime scene photos. So they drew it up on a diagram and sent him a picture of the diagram.
But all of that should have been noted along with his response and his name.
Yep.
And the fact of what his qualifications were. That way, this BS story of, well, so-and-so who was on the force at that time did look at his qualifications and vetted them. That's not how this works.
Yeah, it said that he was part of his what's the word I'm looking for? Part of his specialty was Nordic.
Right.
The Nordic culture.
But there should have been a file with this professor's name on it, with all of the qualifications, what they sent him, what he sent back in return, and a summary of his findings.
Oh, 100%.
But because this case is so full of corruption, and the reason people think there's corruption is because maybe there was no professor and they made it up to why they dropped O'Neill.
Yep.
Now, if they would have come out and given the name and everything, this would have never been an issue. But because they didn't do their job and record things correctly, this is an issue.
By the sounds of it, they didn't do a lot of things that they should have done.
So I challenge anyone who's good with a computer, go back and Google professors in 2000. Oh my goodness. What's the year I'm thinking of? 2017, 2008. Well, 2017. It was early.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Look at their specialties.
At Purdue.
At Purdue. Was there a professor?
Right.
If you find anything, email it to me. I mean, even the defense or the prosecutor could have done that. Or, the defense team could have actually done that. I don't know that this is the same professor. Maybe. But I can go back and look.
Yeah, was it the same professor from Purdue?
You're thinking of the professor from Purdue that did the geocaching that liked, what is his name? Crumper. I did a video on it. And I actually put True Crime Jesus' some of his information from his video in there because I had permission to do it. What was his name? I can't think of it. Yes, he's the one that did the archaeological digs close to the bridge. Same
Crumpet.
guy. Crumpet, that's it. Yes, digital. But I wonder if this is the guy that they actually went and asked all this to, or if there was another professor that they asked. Because if they went and asked this guy his opinion, there's something wrong with that. They should have never used him. So, absolutely. He should have never been. He was too close to the case. He had contact with Libby and her sister. They should have never gone to him for information. I hope that's not who they're talking about. Where is he now? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right. So we're going to have to wait and see now. It's in the prosecutor's hands. Now the prosecutor has to come out and refute all of this. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Knowing them, there's not going to be a document like this that's going to come out before they go to court. Unless the judge denies the hearing. Then we'll get a document, a response from the prosecution. Krampus, yep, that's exactly what it is. Lala, they should have contacted experts in Norway. Geez, what were they thinking? This is way deeper. Yes, I agree with you, digital. I mean, this whole thing of Odinism and Sons of Odin, I heard that right away. When I started doing this, I got information on it right away. I did freak out the other day when I saw a certain picture of BH. He is the only one out of everybody that we've looked at that looks the closest to Bridge Guy to me. But then you hear his voice, and the voice don't match. So I don't know. I don't see it as Ron Logan being on the bridge. Absolutely not. But I don't truly see it being Richard Allen either. There's just something about his facial features that just doesn't match up with the shadows of BG's face. At least to me. So now, I mean, we heard something big was coming, right? Well, this was something big. Definitely something big. It definitely came. Now we have to wait for the next. My cat's trying to get in the room. I agree. He looks like the guy on the bridge. But then you listen to his voice compared to the voices that were on the video, and it does not, I don't think they're similar. Yeah, I agree with that too. That's why I said at the top of this, we've gotten more information in this one document than we have in the 6 years. And that's how I want to end the show tonight, you guys. Yes, we want to know what happened to our girls. Okay? Absolutely. We want to know what happened to Abby and Libby. All the gory details, unfortunately. Well, most of them. Just for our peace of mind. Since we're in this community, for our learning curve, right? But at the end of the day, it's not how these girls died. It's how they lived. And as all of this information comes in and we're able to put things together, just always, always remember them alive, happy, together, laughing, giggling, being with their friends, being with their families, writing post-it notes, playing volleyball, playing baseball. Just remember that part of them and keep that part alive. Because even though they're no longer with us, and that's the part that we're trying to figure out right now, their legacy is going to be how they lived. Right. Most girls don't even give this business a second thought in their heavenly home. Yep. They're at peace. They can, it's said that you continue to learn and grow up there, and time's so different. So I'm sure that they've got a lot of clarity. They definitely want justice. Anyone would. But we just got to remember them here on Earth in regards to how they lived their lives and what they did here for us, and not how they died. So, hopefully this week I will continue to get better and not have as many coughing fits. I got to thank Andrea for coming on and reading this stuff. I would have never made it through. As it is, I'm just going to have to be quiet for the rest of the night, rest my voice. But what's coming next for True Crime with Marv? We will continue to follow any developments in the Delphi case. But we also are starting a new series. Oh, my cat wants in here so bad. So we were supposed to start this series last week. When I first got sick, we're going to do it on Thursday. It's going to be a data dump. That's the easiest way I can explain it to you. It's in no particular order. It's everything that I have saved on the Delphi case. Pictures, videos, screenshots, you name it, whatever I've got. I'm going to show it to you all to you. May trigger some things, from the past that have to do with what happened this week. We'll see. So, yes, not the way you left them in these woods. Exactly. That is never going to be their legacy. And a big part of their legacy is going to be the amount of children that were saved through the CSAM. Yeah. Digitals, yes. Yeah, you're going to like this series. I'm going to put it all out there. And then on the 23rd, we have episode 11 of What Happened to Tabitha. So, we're going to do the weekly. I said, Delphi Murders, have you seen this information? I'm going to do like an hour and a half live. And show you as much as I can in that hour and a half. And then the next week, it'll be every Thursday is when I'm going to do it. And we'll do that until everything's out there. I don't know how long that's going to take because there's a lot of stuff. And then I'll keep going on Tabitha's case. I'm actually going to Indiana the end of this month. So that I can be there for her vigil. So we'll keep you updated on Delphi. We'll keep you updated on Tabitha's case. And we're going to throw in some other stuff too. I don't know if it's going to be trials yet or just other cases. I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 short 10-minute pre-recorded videos for the missing each week. So, all depends on when this goes away. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate being patient with our internet issues, my coughing issues. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.